Good morning. I said good morning. It's the middle of the afternoon. Um, how are you? I'm gonna hit the record button. Weird thing is where when I start on my stream, my screen to start is not where my camera is, so I get lost. Like right now, I'm lost. Okay, here we go. So I just want to get that set up. I don't have it all set up yet for today. But how are you guys doing? It's Sunday afternoon. What should I be doing right now? I should be at an open house. Why am I not at an open house? I don't know. I don't know. Here, let's go over to that frame right there. Um, well, one, I don't like going open houses. Really don't. You say why? Well, if I have a buyer, I'd much rather show them a house uh, privately because there's less people. I don't have to fight everything. Plus, to me, there's like you get a warped view of who might be interested in the house because when you see like 10 people there, now all of a sudden you think that 10 people want to buy the house when in reality maybe nobody wants to buy the house. So you never know. Um, so I did show a house yesterday morning. We'll go over that. I don't know if I want to do that or general housekeeping. I would say that I want to do live streaming for 1 month in a row and see what happens. I've been having really good results, but then yesterday, not good results. And I don't know why. I don't know if it was the subject was not where people wanted to be or what, but it didn't go well. So we'll get into this showing yesterday. House in University City. Um, an interesting house because it's on the corner of a street. It's not in the subdivision, and the style of the home is not like anything around it. And excuse me, just as we saw on the Friday house, this house was completely remodeled, and there was like an extra room in the back, and then there was a deck, and the house itself was kind of on a hill, and like I said, the style wasn't the same as the rest of the neighborhood. Some of the things I found interesting in the house were or was in the back in the kitchen. The kitchen had been remodeled, looked really nice, had granite countertops. But there was a fish tank, and it had said that there was a fish tank in the listings, and that didn't mean anything to me. You know, I've seen enough fish tanks in my life that it's fine. But this was not just any fish tank. This tank had coral. This tank had, I believe, clownfish based on my buyer. She knew, and it had like an eel, and it had a shrimp, and this was on the first floor. And then there were buyers and all sorts of things to go down to the basement where there was just this huge setup. And I took pictures of it, and I'll post them on Facebook. Probably, probably this week. I don't know. I don't like to. I I like to have fun with my posts, but I don't like to make fun of people in my posts, and I certainly don't want to make fun of somebody that's got an active listing. Now, do I know? I mean, is there any way for somebody to know exactly where I took that picture as long as I don't, tag anybody or anything? No. But I try to be kind of polite. But I want everyone to see this fish tank because in this setup because it's just amazing. Um, the other thing about this house that was interesting to me was in the backyard by the lock there was like blood stain on the door. And I would just say that when you're showing houses, like the last thing you want to see is blood stains on the door. They could say, John, it's not blood stains, it's barbecue sauce. Okay, well, that's fine. Whatever it is, it looks like blood, and I don't really want to see it on the back door when I'm trying to show a house. It gives off bad vibes. So, talked to the buyers. They were interested in the house. I said, take a night to think about it. Let me know tomorrow. I went and did some searching for what was being offered with the sale of the home, what was being left and what wasn't, and then I got that confirmation, and then I went to the buyers and I said, "Are we interested?" And no, no. With these buyers, they're good people. They've been looking for a long time, and throughout the process, their search criteria has changed because their circumstances has changed for a good thing, for a good way. So I'm happy to, you know, I'm happy to show them houses. They may not buy a house this week, they may not buy a house this month, but someday they will hopefully buy a house. Now, I have one buyer that's kind of fallen off the face of the earth. I don't know what she's up to. And then I have another buyers that they just get busy. And then stuff doesn't seem interesting to them. And I thought I would see them this week on Friday, but unfortunately I had to show a house, so I wasn't able to go to where they were going to be. And that's disappointing. So I can't stay awake. So what do you guys do on a Sunday afternoon? I mean, if I'm not doing real estate, I try to take it really easy on Sunday. Today, I have some things I got to do, and I don't want to do them. That's that. I'd rather live stream. I'd rather make a video than do what I'm supposed to do or nap. But I mean, we've got time. I'm going to go over it. So I've been waking up early in the morning, and I've gotten stuff in order, so everything's good. But on today, I got up whenever I wanted to, and I think it was at 7, but it felt like it was 10 o'clock. But it's just throwing my whole day off. Yeah. Not in a negative way. We got to go to Lowe's this morning, and we got to go to my favorite restaurant in St. Louis. I would say for a burger at least. There's a place called Stacked in Carondelet, Stacked STL. I love that place. I love a good hamburger. Well, it's a cheeseburger, and you can make your own. You don't physically sit there like at a Fuddruckers. You just order it and bring it out the way you want it. It's dicey. If you ever see a home for sale on Virginia in Bates, I'm sure it's going to get better though. I've seen some investors down there, but even when we were down there, it was a little sketchy today. A lot of odd driving around and people pulling U-turns and police officers and anyway, it's Sunday. St. Louis weather report is that it is cloudy. It is an odd sort of, it's warm enough, but it's cold at the same time. You got to wear a coat. I wore a hoodie. That's where we got today. So I'm basically full, and that's what's making me tired. On Friday night, what is it? This is Saturday. So on Friday night, this is Sunday. On Friday night, we went to Kimswick, and they had a wonderful Christmas celebration. All the shops were open. Beautiful candle, like along the road, like they had these little candles and light the way, and it was just a really nice time. It wasn't. There's the Apple Butter Festival and there's the Strawberry Festival, and those are really, really busy. This wasn't too busy, but everyone had done, put up their own lights, and it was just a really good time. So that's what we did Friday night. I don't remember if I mentioned on the stream or not on Saturday. I saw that Bob Dole passed away today. My thoughts on Bob Dole: seemed like a nice fellow. Seemed like a unifier, not a divider, but failed political candidate. His platform was not great, not enough to win. And so, okay. I always think, like, when someone passes, who deserves the media, wall to wall coverage, and then who goes softly in the night. I know for a fact that if you're a Republican that was always voting Democrat or always sticking your thumb in the eye of the Republican Party, you will be martyred when you die. Press will love you. They will say you were the best politician ever. It happened with McCain. They hated George Bush, the original George Bush, and yet when he died, it was revisionist history like I've never seen. And then in this case with Dole, I suspect that he did enough to garner worldwide sympathy now that he's passed. In some ways, I think it's kind of sick. I think they look for candidates that lost, and then we can, then they lost to the Democrats, so it's really great. It's a very weird political system we have, very, very strange, and I don't know. I think oddly enough, Bob Dole's wife was more popular at one point in time than he was. I think she ran the Red Cross for a while, or she was involved with the Red Cross, and very interesting. Very interesting. As you grow up, okay, I'll just tell you guys, because the people that watch my stream and the people that watch my videos are mostly between their 20s and 30s. Over time, everything from your childhood will be like, they'll all be dead. And I think that's when you start getting some humility. In this case, he was 98. So, but he was relevant in the mid 90s, early 90s. He was relevant. And so it's just one more part of your history gone. Anyway, I don't have the right words, but I always find it uncomfortable, disappointing, strange when, the play on YouTube or social media right now is just to really take your shots at Bob Dole. Okay, because by having an opposing view, you can probably garner some followers. But to me, it's like, I don't want to use someone's death as a springboard to my betterment. It just seems wrong. Not Schadenfreude, because we're not taking joy in the misery of others. It's something quite different. It's publicizing. I don't know. What do you think? When somebody dies, is it time to drop the fight? I don't know. I don't want to play that game. And I'm just hoping that with you as my followers, we don't have to. So anyway, I had a former client reach out to me and say that my Twitter game was getting better. I appreciate that, because I don't understand Twitter. Because whatever it is, the character count makes it so that I don't exactly know what's going on. And when I read Twitter and when I read a tweet, it's like I'm supposed to know what's going on. So because my former client told me I was doing better and I should keep it up, I posted that we're going to have a live stream at 2:15 a day, which we did. I was right. We did do that. I would like to, this is a major breaking story. I would like to tweet. I'd like to do live streams for 30 days in a row and see what happens to my channel. I don't suspect much is going to happen with my channel in 30 days. But I'd like to see what happens. They say you're supposed to be really consistent and that helps the algorithm. Well, we'll find out, won't we? I'm taking apart a pen while we're talking. So tell me about your day. Tell me about what you're up to. What are you paying attention to in the world? What's the news that you're interested in? Is it Bob Dole passing away? Is it the Waukesha incident where this man just plows through like 50 people and all of a sudden it disappears, the story? Or is alleged to have had that happen. We don't know for a fact that the he hasn't been tried, so we don't know. I always like to not rush to judgment on things of this nature. It doesn't look real positive for him. Say that. You agree with me on that one. Um, but yeah, what do you guys do on a Sunday? Like I would say I reminisce about a different time in my life, or I work in the yard on the weekends. I try to do something. So anyway, yeah. So here, I'm putting this back. So do I have anything else that I wanted to go over before we get in the articles? Well, put in the comments what you think is going to happen if I live stream for 30 days. Am I going to get any benefit from YouTube or not? There's something about live streaming, though, that I really, really like. And let me try and explain it from my perspective and then try and explain it if I were a buyer or a seller of real estate perspective. So I love to stream because how do you show your knowledge about a topic if you never say anything about it and if no one ever has the chance to see it? So like my wife doesn't even know what I do half the time with real estate. So this gives me the opportunity to express my views for the most part so that it's out there. Now, I used to love talk radio. Don't get me wrong. I used to spend hours listening to it during the day when we're driving and things like that. But times have changed, and I don't have any interest in that stuff. But the talent to be able to speak for an hour, or the talent to be able to speak and then go to a commercial and all this stuff. I mean, I'm finding out myself that this is very difficult to be compelling for an hour by yourself. Now, will we have guests in the future? Yeah, if anybody wants to be a guest on my show, hit me up. Seriously, check my email. Send me something on Twitter. DM me. I mean, we'll put something together. The issues that I have with that is, number one, like if you're a real estate agent in Los Angeles, okay, and you've got like 100 followers, and I've got 49 followers as of this morning, we're not exactly making the world move. Your small audience and my small audience are not going to get it where it needs to be. So that won't work. And then the other thing is there anything knowable about you that we can discuss? So if you've been in the electronic media space or the social media space for years, well, there's, now I can talk about something. If you're relatively new, we got nothing to go on. And so, people that might watch the stream because of you, it's not going to work because, no one knows who you are. Just the same problem I have. No one knows that I'm a real estate agent from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a real estate broker. I have my own brokerage, Deerwood Realty. Our podcast is Deerwood Realty and Friends. And that I comment on real estate news, real estate stories. I put my spin on them. And if that's something that you'd be interested in, you probably should subscribe to the channel. Now, does anybody subscribe to the channel? Well, 49 people have. Maybe a few bots in there. I don't know. But it's growing slowly. Anyway, let's kind of look at it from a potential buyer or seller. So, say you're looking for a real estate agent. Now, I know this happens because I was on Reddit the other day, and these people were like, I hate my real estate agent, and they're terrible. And they had a Confederate flag in their yard when we looked at their house. And this is, of course, after something bad happened, meaning they didn't get to buy the house they wanted. So, as far as I'm concerned, you can see me every day. I don't think I have that many secrets. I definitely don't have a Confederate flag hanging off my front porch. But you're welcome to look on Google Maps and see what is there. Spoiler alert, it's my neighbor and her young child outside. My garage door is closed, and that's what it is. And it's better than the other picture that used to be up there because it used to be from when I moved into my house, and nothing had been done in the front, so it looked terrible. And it lasted for like years. So anyway, so my thought was, if I do a podcast, if I do a live stream, people will know that I'm here, or they will want to know more about my business and want to know more about like how I conduct myself. If they want to perhaps give me a call. Now, that's also funny because I also used it, you know, who knows who's going to call? You know, who knows how that's going to go. But one of the weird things, I'm just going to change subject. One of the weird things I have is I can see my counts on my viewers or who's watching, and then one just disappeared, and I'm like, where did they go? Did I make them mad? So now they're back. It's kind of funny. So anyway, it is a live stream, so you know, you could chat. We could chat. You could put something in the chat. I'm going to read it because there's nobody else here. Anyway, yeah. So if you were a buyer or seller and you said, "Well, I want to work with somebody, but I don't know them," you know, you could sneak and watch some of my stuff, my chats, my videos, and get a better sense of who I am before you even reached out to call me. And I'm totally good with that, because maybe you don't like me, and if you don't like me, probably best not to call me. Don't waste either one of our times. I think at some point in time, I'll do like the end of the year wrap for how things went, my dumbest mistakes, and my best run. But we're not going to do that today. But I was just thinking about one of my failures. Anyway, what am I thinking that's wrong on that? Oh, the other thing, I need a bigger network of people that are good at things. So, you know, I need a new computer soon. There's no question. Which one should I get? You know, I might want to make a different logo, but I won't. You know, who thinks this is a good idea? And like yesterday, my headphones, they don't seem to work the way I want them to with my computer. They work great on my phone. And what is that about? So those are the things that I'm thinking now. Also thinking like I want to have an intro that makes sense, lasts a certain amount of time, not too long. And I think I've overdone that. So let's go into the first article. Oh, let me get so that you can get there too. Here you go. Thought this was kind of interesting. So this came in the first. It says millennials are blaming boomers for the starter home shortage. Survey finds. So millennials. So it even has little bullet points. It says some millennials blame boomers for the starter home shortage, a new study found. Boomers looking to downsize want those starter homes, and they're winning most bidding wars. The housing crisis of 2021 was in the making for 10 years, and the pandemic didn't help. That's it. So here it goes. It says the latest in generational warfare, which, by the way, I am 100% against generational warfare. And the reason why is if you're younger, you should show, like, again, I was taught that you should show respect to your elders, because they may know things and they may see things differently than you do. And just as an example, let's look at Bob Dole. Fought in World War II, I think. Fought somewhere. Had paralysis due to his injuries and still managed to become a senator and a presidential candidate. If you were born in 1977, what's the worst thing that's happened to you? You have to go to war. If the damage was self-inflicted or the damage was environmental, I understand that. Believe me. But, you know, it could have been a lot worse, I guess is what I'm saying. And that's one of the problems I kind of have is with kids born now. They'll say like, why didn't you do it this way? Or why didn't you do it this way? Or, and you're like, well, that's not the way it was. For instance, talk about purchasing something. You wanted to buy something, you went to a store. There was no internet to go to. You couldn't just type it in on Amazon. There was a lot less of something. So like faucets, there was Moen and there was Delta and Price Pfister. But that was it. Like you're gonna get a faucet from one of those manufacturers. And like things like refrigerators and televisions and air conditioning cost a lot of money. So like you would have to work a couple months to afford a refrigerator. Like people don't think about that way anymore. It's just a different world. So anyway, I'm sorry, let me get through this. So it says, so what is this? Millennials are saying that the baby boomers are buying houses as starter houses, and then that's bad. So it says, so finds a recent study by asset manager and insurer Legal in General, which polled 875 non-homeowning millennials. So anyway, while this is a small sample size, the report revealed a notable trend in respondents blaming older generations for their housing difficulties. And that's the other thing. So who will you, if you're failing, who will you blame? You're not going to blame yourself. Can you blame the older people? Sure. Can you blame younger people? No, they don't own houses. So this article kind of follows just basic logic. One respondent wrote, boomers need to stop buying starter homes as their retirement home. It's driving up the cost where the first-time home buyers can't afford it. Another felt similarly, it's hard to afford the homes in the budget because boomers are also buying them. Now, what is your proof that a boomer is buying the house that you lost out on? How do you know who bought the house? And that's the issue. It's like you're going to blame a whole group of people, but you don't even know if they actually bought the house or not. They don't make that information public. Who buys a house? And you're going to say it's boomers, but it's not Zillow's iBuying program or OfferPad or Redfin or anybody that's doing the iBuying model. Okay. Nearly half of millennials who don't own a home are saving for a down payment, the survey found. But 55% of them can't afford to buy yet in today's heating housing market, where record prices have reached a record median high of $386,888. I learned that it's more than 400,000, so we disagree on the numbers. Being boxed out of first-time home ownership explains a lot about their resentment. When these kids were growing up, were they growing up when we had the housing boom and bust in 2008, 2009? Did they get stuck in that spot? It says, home ownership is increasingly concentrated in the hands of older generations, which have hoarded wealth and restricted my generation's access to similar economic opportunities. So here's the thing. You have no economic opportunities because of many, many things. It's not necessarily, well, I mean, we're not going to talk about political reasons. We're just going to talk about, and then hoarded wealth. What does that mean? And restricted your generations. That's true. I mean, when I got out of college, there were no economic opportunities. But my stepson, he went to school and got a job at Pfizer. So, I mean, maybe it was just me. And then it says, some respondents even feel boomers are contributing to their overall economic plight, marked by 2 recessions by the age of 40 and soaring living costs. They said boomers' abuse of the American dream made millennials' pursuit of the same ideal more difficult, and that boomers got rid of many programs that would have been helpful for millennials to achieve it. What does that mean? Boomers' abuse of the American dream. So, in theory, like there's the American dream, and then it's your American dream, okay? But other people have an opinion and they don't like how your American dream played out. That's a tough argument. I'm not interested in an intergenerational argument. I just think it's much more complicated than that. But then it says boomers got rid of many programs that would have been helpful for millennials to achieve it. I don't know what that means. What programs were gotten rid of? And then it says even boomers themselves agree. Billionaire Howard Marks, investor and co-founder of Oak Tree Capital Management, recently took, I don't know who billionaire Howard Marks is, recently took a shot at his generation for leaving younger generations with excessive debt. That's true. We do have excessive debt. And demographer, I think that's how it is, Neil Howe, who coined the term millennial, previously told Insider, boomers refuse to pay for institutional upkeep, which has contributed to the affordability crisis millennials are dealing with. Well, if we're talking about government institutions, if we're talking about corporate institutions, well, they're all corrupt and they're all rotten to the core. Now, boomers refuse to pay for institutional upkeep. Well, let's just go for the corporations. I mean, they're making billions of dollars, so that they're not really investing back into their own companies. That's on them. If you want to go with politicians, they don't even have that issue. They just get to just take money left and right. Refuse to pay. I wouldn't say that. I would say boomers just. I would not say boomers did anything. They saw a system that was the same as their parents, and they took advantage of it. And you say the millennials can't take advantage of that because they're in debt. I don't know about that. But when you have rotten institutions, you're going to be in a problem. Now, could you blame? I will not blame a group of people for the institutional rot and the political rot in the United States, the government rot. I won't do it. It's all on its own. So it says it's not all boomers' fault. That's the headline here. It says, now there's some truth to this blame and some major caveats. As a legal general study pointed out, boomers looking to downsize are shopping for starter homes that fall within millennial budgets. A Zillow report, Zillow, by the way, the iBuying company that lost $438 million in the third quarter of this year, from October, found that so many boomers are active in the housing market, it's become more difficult for millennials to buy a home. But again, we don't know who's buying these homes. How do you quantify a boomer buying a home that's a starter home? What if it's a person that's never been able to afford a house that finally has enough money saved up that they can go buy a house, and they just happen to be older? Are they not allowed to buy a house because they rented their entire life? It's just a bizarre argument. That's why I brought this article up, because I think it's a very just strange way to look at things. As longtime homeowners with equity gains to put in all cash offer. Wow, boomers are more likely to emerge victorious in bidding wars over millennials who struggled to save for down payments even before the pandemic. As a real estate broker, if someone puts an offer of cash or puts an offer of credit, I don't care, as long as the number is high enough to buy the house over anyone else. So I'm not buying it. Americans 60 years old and older have been far more active in the housing market in the past decade than people in the same age group 10 years earlier. The share of home buyers in this cohort grew by 47% from 2009 to 2019. Meanwhile, the share of younger buyers age 18 to 39 in the past decade has shrunk by 13% in the same time frame. So both things can be true. Share of younger buyers can go down. Share of older buyers can go up. Two don't necessarily have to be related. But it would be unfair to blame the housing crisis on the hands of boomers when there are many factors at play. I agree with that. There have been 20 times fewer homes built in the past decade than any other decade as far back as the 1960s. So why aren't we building more new single-family homes for sale? Got to worry about the environment, right? Can't do that because of the environment. Okay. Well, now we can't afford a home. Which is more important, the environment or a home? Kids today would say environment, I would think. I don't agree. And the pandemic hasn't helped housing scarcity. Some owners haven't been listing their homes as a safety precaution. I don't know what that means. Some owners haven't been listing their homes as a safety precaution. That doesn't make any sense. It says, others are wary of putting them on the market for fear of being unable to find an affordable replacement to buy. Well, that makes sense, but that doesn't have anything to do with these people. It doesn't have anything to do with the boomers. That has to do with everybody. I have people that are 25 years old or 30 have a starter home and don't want to buy another house because they don't know that they can find another one. She added that there might have been more homes on the market absent a historic lumber shortage. That's not going to be true because the lumber situation is relatively new, like within 1 year. Not building enough houses for the past 20 years is a whole different issue, or even longer. So I don't buy that. It says when the housing market opened up, Americans bought more new homes than the lumber industry could keep up with. As lumber prices skyrocketed, the cost was passed down to homebuyers. Well, yes, it did. However, we have a very, very hot market, and you can still buy a used home, and it has nothing to do with the lumber construction. You buy a home from the 50s, the lumber situation is not an issue. So I'm disagreeing with this. Disagreeing with this article for the most part. It says, and with millennials aging to their peak home buying years, their demand is only exacerbating the shortage. Boomers may not be the sole cause of the housing crisis, but they too are intensifying a market that's never been so competitive thanks to many economic forces. Now that's the end of the article. So what are we going to talk about? What about institutional purchases by Zillow, by OfferPad? What are we talking about? How a Redfin, iBuying? Let's talk about that. What about those people pricing others out of the market? Is it okay if it's a corporation that does it? Or we're going to blame the boomers, but we're not going to talk about the corporations, eh? Okay. So I don't understand that safety argument. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, really. But no, they're not. Your population is increasing. Why is your population increasing? Many, many reasons, none of which are that great. Number two, you've limited construction in the United States of single-family homes. It's not great. But to blame boomers, I think, is just ridiculous. We should be happy that boomers can have wealth to be able to buy a home, in the sense that what if you lived before Social Security and didn't have any money to save throughout your lifetime and we're out on the streets now? So this was a totally, unpopular. Oh, I got my first spam post. Isn't that nice? And it's written in Cyrillic. Good for me. Yay. Thank you, Cyrillic writer spam poster. Can I change it? Can I get rid of it right now? No, can't get rid of it. All right, we'll keep it on there. Good. I wonder if you're the spam poster that's on my other videos. I don't know. I'm happy. Thank you. Anyway, so I totally disagree with that article. I disagree with the premise. Don't blame generations. Blame people. Directly blame people and the politicians. Don't let them out of it. Don't let the corporations out of it either. Okay. Don't blame a generation. Blame the people that are involved. Because let's just say you're a Zillow and you've got a 60-year-old running Zillow and you've got a 23-year-old first job out of college. They're just as capable, they're just as big of a mess as the executive. They're part of the problem. So don't do generational. Make sure you do corporations. Make sure you do political. That's where you should be. We got here. I was so taken aback that I got my live stream comment. I mean, this is great. And that's another thing is you get these spam comments and then they're not viewers. They're just literally not even viewing. Oh, so thank you. Let's look at another article. It says, goodbye open houses, hello TikTok tours. How homes get sold now. This was written November 23rd, 2021. It says, and I don't know anything about, I'm a real estate agent. I don't know anything about this. I have a TikTok. I've used TikTok. But let's just go through it. It says, once upon a time, standard home selling practices called for, this is out of Money Magazine, and I've got a link in the description, called for an open house and a series of in-person showing. With the pandemic hit, though, the industry was forced to pivot and fast. Well, I disagree with the premise. It says, with stay-at-home orders, social distancing, and health concerns that came with the coronavirus, these strategies either legally weren't an option or just weren't very appealing. Okay. True. But I said after 2 weeks, I was out there showing houses, and there were hundreds of people out there with me. So just disagree. Just agree to disagree. According to Zillow, which we shouldn't ever, the share of listings with an advertised open house fell to just 1% in April 2020. And that's not fair. That was right during the coronavirus outbreak. Let's be serious. While they've bounced back slightly since those days, only 12% of listings featured open houses as of this summer, down 20% pre-pandemic. So that could also be a nature of just the way marketing is done differently. As an example, if you know a house is going to sell and there's going to be multiple offers after the weekend, why are you doing an open house? And you say, well, I'm trying to find new buyers. Well, and that I have made a conscious decision as a real estate agent, a real estate broker. I will not do an open house just to find a new group of buyers or sellers. Is this a bad strategy on my part? Maybe. But if I'm doing an open house, it's 100% to get exposure for the house. Okay. It's not for me to do better. Basically, that's my opinion. So like I said, if I'm going to sell a house in the weekend, I'm not going to do an open house. That's just me. And you say, well, what if somebody would have written an offer? Well, like I said, I got 15 offers on my last listing. So I'm not real worried about that idea because I feel like the serious buyers are going to be in there and they don't need an open house. So, and then I told you when I first started this today, I don't like to go to open houses during this situation because I don't like to be stuck with a bunch of people. Now, this is me as an agent. So I can only imagine what buyers are thinking. Anyway, so we'll just go with that. And it says, with their tried and true marketing tactics off the table. So who are we marketing for and what are we talking about? Real estate agents have adapted. Have they? Many leaned on technology to enhance their listings or to give in-the-fly video tours on the fly. Others got more creative, turning to social media, live streaming, or even online influencers to get properties noticed. I do not understand in this current environment why you need to do more marketing than you currently do if you're getting multiple offers way above asking price. The idea that you're going on Twitter and tweeting that you have a listing is nice, but is it really contributing at the end of the day to somebody actually buying the home? Here we go. This is the year of creativity, says agent so-and-so, who recently enlisted TikTokers to help sell a $5.3 million house in California. The housing market is booming and old-fashioned walk-through open houses no longer cut it. You sold a $5.3 million house because of TikTok, but you didn't sell a house without TikTok. Baloney. She's right. She's not. Most agents say these newer marketing tactics are here to stay. What are they going to say? That they're not here to stay? How are we supposed to know if they're here to stay or not? Okay? It's ridiculous. Are you planning to buy or sell a home soon? Here's some of the new marketing strategies you might encounter along the way. Okay. Virtual tours and video tours. Virtual and video tours have easily been the most prevalent replacement for open houses during the pandemic. Not true. Been doing them for years, but I'm glad you just noticed. And they've stood in for traditional in-person showings as well. These function several ways. Agents may hop on a Zoom, FaceTime, or Skype call and walk buyers through a potential property using just their phone or computer screen. Yes, I've done this. I've also taken videos of houses. However, when you're going to buy a home, you should walk through it first. You should see it in person. Others might host a Zoom open house, stationing themselves at the property and allowing buyers to jump on with questions and tour requests during a set 2 to 3 hour time frame. I'm not doing that. Still, others would hire a videographer to create an edited tour that could be played on a listing page or shared on YouTube and other platforms. I actually have a walkthrough 3D tour. I always do video for my listings. So that's not new. That's the point. It's not new and it has nothing to do with the pandemic. Virtual tours on websites and FaceTime and Zoom calls at properties with a real estate agents have dominated, which is, try to quantify that quote. More than ever, buyers want to sit in the comfort of their home while an agent shows their property on the phone. Well, that doesn't seem like a very motivated buyer to me. I'm just saying. At the height of the pandemic, real estate brokerage, discount real estate brokerage Redfin reported a jaw-dropping 494% surge in video tour requests. Today, a study by an online real estate school, Aceable Agent, shows about 60% of recent buyers participated in some sort of virtual video or remote showing in their home search. 3D walkthroughs. Another popular option has been the 3D walkthrough. These allow buyers to step virtually inside a home, moving around, zooming in, and inspecting it with just a few clicks of their mouse. Three-dimensional tours are absolutely the answers. A house flipper and real estate investor says out of Connecticut. Whenever you want and no matter what you're doing, you can always tour a house from the comfort of your sofa through 3D tours. Also, do you not realize that as real estate agents, we're gonna rig the 3D tours just like we rig the pictures? Are you really that naive? And then it says, then it's a kind of irrelevant statistic. According to Zillow, listings with these 3D walkthroughs are up almost 200% from pre-pandemic days. In some markets, almost a third of all listings boast one. Well, I have them on 100% of my listings, and I have since before the pandemic. So, nah. 2D images do not do justice to the way a house is structured. They miss out on a lot of details that may be important. These types of walkthroughs not only provide a lot of detail of every corner of your property, but they also give buyers the option to zoom in on specific areas of interest, which really helps them see themselves living in the home. Literally looking, like, let's say your screen at home is 40 inches, okay? And you're going to tell me that it's better to do that than it is to just physically go to the house and take a look at it. That's not going to give you better scale by actually being at the house. Ridiculous. Live streaming. Think live streaming is just for teens and video gamers? No, I'm 44 years old and I like to live stream. According to the agents, it's actually quite an effective tool in today's real estate market. So-and-so uses live videos for every listing he takes on. He'll go live on Instagram, on Facebook, walk through the property, and take questions from buyers walking remotely. I'm not. I'm not. I don't want to. And, if you really want to, it's so weird. At first, this tactic was simply an alternative to Facebook and Zoom tours, which this guy says often came with technical difficulties. Now he says lives are a way to connect. Oh, lives. So we've shortened it. Our way to connect with buyers and build his brand. Our live videos let people. Does it really, though? Is it really building your brand? I don't know who you are. And I don't know how many houses you sold last year. And I don't know how many houses you sold this year. I don't know anything. I'm just reading this article. Our live videos let people get to know us and build a genuine relationship. They can be a bit uncomfortable at times, but I believe that it shows honesty and truthfulness. In a world of Instagram where everything is cleaned up and perfect, people seem to appreciate the real me in the real home. Well, let's unpack that. So I do think that everything's fake, okay? And I do think that live video is the way to fix being fake. But again, going through a house to do a live stream to me is a bad idea because you want to see everything in the house for yourself. Now you say, John, what if it's a relocation person? What if it's somebody that's in Seattle and wants to put an offer here in St. Louis? Then you're stuck. You're in a bad spot. You should probably come out here and take a look. Just know the house will be gone before you get a chance to get back on the airplane and go back. Really a bad deal. Some other agent with Coldwell Banker in Austin, which is one of the hottest real estate markets in the country, also uses live streaming. Not only does it help his listings reach a larger audience, but it creates content for other platforms since agents can post the recording to YouTube or other snippets or other media like Reels, TikTok, Facebook Marketplace. One could argue that live features on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok make online tours more efficient for the agent than physical open houses. Rather than spending hours touring a home with a limited number of people in succession, an online live event lets unrestricted numbers of people view the house from wherever they are. Yeah, but they don't. And how many looky-loos are sitting there wasting your time versus you're actually just showing a buyer who's actually interested? I had that one little comment and then nobody else on my clips, so that makes me sad. All right. Social media marketing. Well, let's talk about that. Live streams aren't the only way agents are using social media to their advantage. Other social tools and platforms can be beneficial too. Take millennial focused agent, whatever. who calls her Instagram her bread and butter. This person has advanced over 15,000 followers across her 2 accounts, largely by creating reels, a type of short-form content set to music. The reels range from simple home tours to local business features to investing and home buying tips. Some have garnered more than 1.5 million views and counting. Instagram is primarily how I've built my business during the pandemic. I utilize stories, reels, lives, and regular in-feed posts to market each listing. She also markets on YouTube and TikTok in a similar fashion. TikTok is growing like crazy and will be the next Instagram. So you tell me, like, why doesn't this article, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but how many deals has this person done because of Instagram? Maybe they've done 1,000. I don't know. But I really want to hear about how many deals they've done and how it works out. And I mean, the reels that they've done and the Instagram that they've done versus nothing before they did all that stuff. More creative listings photos. Okay, so what does that say? Agents have also found ways to beef up their listings through photography. Some lady that's an agent prefers to use more editorial style photos rather than traditional wide angle types. As she puts it, if the living room has a wonderful cozy corner that is perfect for reading, why not allude to this in a photograph that tells the buyer exactly how they might be able to utilize the space? Another tactic is digital staging, which allows agents to decorate a home virtually. They can place furniture, artwork, and even change wall colors in the space and then use those stage photos in listings. You can, it's weird. It can be very hard for buyers to visualize a property because it needs renovation or because it just doesn't suit their taste. Digital renovations, when done well, can showcase a property's potential in a relatively inexpensive way. Buyer beware, though. While virtual staging can help you see the potential in a listing, it can also be misleading. Well, you think? Make sure to look for both staged and unstaged photos when considering a home. You know, the best thing to do is call your agent and say, hey, I want to go see this house. It's listed. Here's the address. And then the agent's going to say, hey, what time can you be there? You say, I can be there in 2 hours. Okay, we'll go look at it. You want to see the disclosures? Yeah, I want to see the disclosures. That's how you do real estate. To me, you got to go see it. What does an IRL open house look like now? I don't know what IRL means. To be clear, hasn't been clear, these tactics haven't outright replaced the in-person open house, and they never will. And by the way, what are we talking about open house for? Why can't we do a private showing? Are we just going to act like those don't exist? In fact, agents say open houses have had quite the resurgence in recent months. They're not just the traditional events most home buyers are accustomed to. Oh, today most open houses are reservation only. Had no idea. In cases when they aren't, entrants are often staggered to keep things socially distanced. No, they're not. Mask, gloves, and other protective wear are also a common sight. Well, you're in the county, we've been forced to wear a mask. And then this other agent, as the open house hasn't really gone away, it's been reborn. If you want to believe this story, go ahead. I'm not saying that some of it's not true, but the idea that we're all going to get on TikTok and dance around and sell houses is silly. It depends on the age group. And then you say, well, the young 21-year-old's going to buy a house and they're going to do it on TikTok. Well, that's because they don't know any better. Seriously. They don't know any better. They haven't had the experience of life to beat them down over years and years and years to the point where they're just skeptical. Speaking from experience. So, I don't know. Do you believe this stuff, though? I see, I read it, and it's like I'm on a different planet, and I'm in the real estate game. Can you see it? Look, here we'll do a product plug. This is from Collegiate Awards in Springfield, Missouri. It's very, very nice. It's a nice Yeti. Keeps things cold. So I'm going to quit on that article as far as reading articles. I want to go over this thought that I had. I don't want you to see the other ones. So, if you want to believe this to be true, that's fine. But I wanted to talk more about YouTube, and I wanted to talk about Google and my business and how I'm confused. Okay, so I've done 83 videos. You know, just videos, not live. And then I've done probably 7 lives, more than that. I've done some live streams. Okay. Do you know what you know what Google is recommending for me? iBuyers. Like I'm some sort of expert in iBuying. And I'm not. I literally just read what happened to Zillow and kind of thought it was funny. Couldn't think of a better company for it to happen to. And then, you know, how is iBuying working in the marketplace, and what is it doing to the marketplace? Is it distorting the marketplace? And between that and institutional buyers, okay, which I also talk about all the time, corporate buyers of single family homes, you're having a significant impact on the real estate market, and prices are moving up. Now add to that low interest rates, add to that inflation, okay? And you just got a perfect recipe for just terribleness, general bad situation. And so here's the thing. Like, say you want to use an iBuying service. Well, you can't use Zillow anymore. They're done. So you look up, and I show up somewhere, okay? I don't do iBuying. If you call me, I come out to your house and say, I think we can list your house for X. I think it'll take this long to sell. That's what I do. Does that make me a dinosaur? I don't think so. I think that's really the way you should probably sell real estate, but what do I know? Anyway, I've got that, and then a property line dispute. And how did I get on property line dispute? Because I had a video that specifically said property line dispute. But what I wanted to kind of transition over to is, why is it that we're talking about TikTok and we're talking about technology and real estate when it's not new, number one, and number two, there's these buzzwords, okay? And are these buzzwords what's being, like, because someone looks up iBuying, and because I'm saying iBuying, I will get more people watching that than I will if I say, a traditional single family home. That line there won't get you anything. No one's looking for a traditional single family home or single family home in general. They're looking at iBuying. And they're short, small terms. They're not long questions. So TikTok tours would be, oh my gosh, well, let's look up TikTok. I'm probably going to get ranked for TikTok tours in my videos. But doesn't that freak you out? It freaks me out because if I just talk, like, if you look at the real estate specific media companies, they talk about these things from a national level. And they're able to kind of like drive a narrative by just using these words over and over. So iBuying. I've heard about iBuying for like 10 years. It's not new. Yet if I'm ranked for iBuying, I have to talk about it. And I wonder if some of these companies aren't smart enough to figure out, hey, we're ranking for these words. We better stick with this. This is what Google must want us to be talking about. That's just an idea. Just an idea. I don't know if I'm right. But what you are searching for results versus what you want results may not be compatible with each other. So one of the phrases that you would want to, rank for in St. Louis is like homes for sale in St. Louis. Now, as a regular broker with a meager web site, I'm not ranking for homes for sale in St. Louis. Who's ranking number one? Well, Zillow is ranking number one, and Realtor.com is ranking number two. And then probably Homes.com is number three. And these are massive corporations. The Realtor.com site is owned by somebody or other, Move.net. And that was purchased by Fox. So I don't know if realtors get any money from our website at all. Realtor.com. No idea. I know that Fox owns it. Zillow's on its own. But anyway, then you'll get like the national franchise brokerage will come up next. So you'll get like Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, those kind of companies. But they'll be the franchised version of the companies. It won't be the individual brokerages. Remax, although I don't think Remax does very well in search. Could be wrong. One of them doesn't do it. I think either Keller Williams or Remax. They don't do search under their own name. They have home valuation websites that are theirs, but not under their name. Anyway, yeah. So does it trouble you that the things that you like? This particular article, Goodbye Open Houses, Hello TikTok Tours Get Homes Sold Now, that's going to be up there on the search because you've got TikTok Tours. You've got something new. Like if you typed in Google open house, you're not going to get anywhere. It's not going to do you any good. But if you type TikTok open house, well, now this article comes up. I don't know. What do you think? Well, I'm going to head out. I just wanted to stream. Like I said, I'm going to stream 30 days in a row and see what happens. I got my first comment today. It was a spam comment, and it was Cyrillic. But hey, that's more than I have gotten before. I don't know if I recorded my live stream, which is annoying, outside of YouTube. But that's what I have for you today. I'll probably do a video after this just because I'm having so much fun, and I don't want to do what I'm supposed to be doing. So with that, I'm going to head out. Thank you for watching. And I will catch you tomorrow, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. I think that's what it is. Anyway, 9 o'clock